Congo's tragedy goes back a long way, but what took place on the 17th of January 1961 will remain one of the darkest moments of our history. Indeed, someone like myself, I have become convinced that that is perhaps where we lost our way. And I'm talking about the a murder, the killing of Monsieur Lumumba, Patrice Emery Lumumba, our first prime minister when we became independent. He was brutally murdered. His crime was none other Congo becoming truly independent. That was his crime. And as we commemorate his death and celebrate his life, I want to read the letter he wrote to his wife just before his death. And this is what he said. My dear wife, I'm writing these words not knowing whether they will reach you, when they will reach you, and whether I shall still be alive when you read them. All through my struggle for the independence of my country, I have never doubted for a single instant for the final triumph of the sacred cause to which my companions and I have devoted all our lives. But what we wished for our Congo, for our country, its right to an honorable life, to unstained dignity, to independence without restrictions, was never desired by the Belgian imperialists and the Western allies, who found direct and indirect support, both deliberate and unintentional, amongst certain high officials of the United Nations, that organization in which we placed all our trust when we called on its assistance. They have corrupted some of our compatriots and bribed others. They have helped to distort the truth and bring our independence into dishonor. How could they speak otherwise? Dead or alive, free or in prison, by order of the imperialists, it is not myself who counts. It is the Congo, it is our people for whom independence has been transformed into a cage from whose confines the outside world looks on us, sometimes with kindly sympathy, but at other times with joy and pleasure. But my faith will remain unshakable. I know and I feel in my heart that sooner or later my people will rid themselves of all their enemies, both internal and external, and that they will rise as one man to say no to the degradation and shame of colonialism and regain the dignity and the clear light of the sun. We are not alone. Africa, Asia, and the free, liberated people from all corners of the world will always be found at the side of the millions of Congolese who will not abandon the struggle until the day when there are no longer any colonialists and mercenaries in our country. As to my children, whom I leave and whom I may never see again, I should like them to be told that it is for them, as it is for every Congolese, to accomplish the sacred task of reconstructing our independence and our sovereignty. For without justice, there is no dignity. And without independence, there are no free men. Neither brutality, nor cruelty, nor torture will ever bring me to ask for mercy. I prefer to die with my head unbowed, my faith unshakable, and with profound trust in the destiny of my country, rather than live under subjection and disregarding sacred principles. History will one day have its say, but it will not be the history that is taught in Brussels, but the history which will be taught in the countries freed from imperialism and its puppets. Africa will write her own history, and to the north and south of the Sahara, it will be a glorious and dignified history. Do not weep for me, my dear wife. I know that my country, which is suffering so much, will know how to defend its independence and its liberty. Long live the Congo. Long live Africa. And a few days later, I will read an extract of what followed. This is from a book written by Kwame Nkrumah, the Ghanaian president. He writes, Lumumba and his two companions were flown to Elizabethville in circumstances which shocked even the Belgian pilot and his crew. According to the pilot's evidence, the three prisoners had been roped together and were beaten continuously throughout the flight. The crew were so sickened at the sight of the savage punishment inflicted on the prisoners that they shut themselves up in the front cabin. Elizabeth Airport, eyewitnesses reported that the prisoners showed obvious signs of ill treatment, and they were further manhandled by troops and police as they were pushed quickly into a waiting jeep. That was more or less the end. The three, Lumumba, Bolo, Okito, have no graves. They have no graves because they didn't want to make wherever they would have been buried. They didn't want that to become another focal point. They just wanted to get rid of Lumumba altogether. It's sad that people thought that it was the right thing to do to have Lumumba killed. Worst of all, the way he was killed. So I want to just sing a hymn to commemorate, to remember Lumumba, to remember Bolo Okito. And I do not mourn, but I want that spirit to remain alive. Wo boko no boko no boko kwa Yesu no boko yavundi swa le nino ngavuku yabokelwanga kwa mfumu nansemo ndi ngamuntima nuwa Dino go vuku still away to Jesus. Still away home. God ziami seatimo Mendigo omuntima nuo. I've got long to stay.